What's up YouTube? Ian Sandusky back here again for Let's Machine. Today we're going to talk real quickly about something that's kind of been on my mind a bit on and off lately over the last year. It's something that is difficult to deal with in a lot of ways because it kind of goes against your human nature as a person in a lot of ways, and that's dealing with energy leeches or energy sinks. Kind of a negative term to put on them. I don't mean to use the term leech as an actual parasite. Sink is a good way to put it, but I don't think it really identifies the problem as quickly or as accurately. Long story short, there's three kinds of energy sinks or three kinds of energy leeches you're going to find out there. One are business, two are personal, and three are internal or inanimate depending on how you look at them. First one's easy, business. I find energy leeches all the time in my work here. Whether that's, a lot of times the energy leech work can be identified as constantly sinking energy into something that you should have fixed right the first time, the first time around you should have fixed correctly, or whether you should just give up and try something else. Perfect example, if you're making a fixture for something, you have something, a way in your head that you want to make this fixture. It's going to save you a ton of time, it's going to make your life easy, you're going to be able to load 100 parts at a time, whatever it may be. So you start working on it and working on it and working on it. For whatever reason, your tool paths keep making parts lift out and throw. It keeps breaking tools because it keeps popping out a dowel, I don't know. Regardless, you keep running into issues. There's a time where you're going to have to basically step back and say, what I'm doing isn't right. Something about this just isn't working out. I need to take a new approach, or I need to basically give up on this concept and try something else. Continuing down that same path is going to leech time from you. You're going to end up sinking so much more time into that than you're ever going to save. And it's never going to pay for itself because now you've sunk 3 days into a fixture that, you know, realistically you're going to use once a year or twice a year. You know what I'm trying to say. These things can pop up all the time. Another would be a job. You know, you're running a job. You like to do it a certain way because you like using ball nose end mills to do this one part. Well, you keep breaking end mills, you keep breaking end mills, you keep breaking end mills, but you keep tweaking it and tweaking it. You know, you're going to get it right when realistically you should just attack it differently. You should flip it over and drill a hole in that spot or whatever it may be. You get caught up, you know, constantly trying to do one thing because that's just how your mind works. I'm very one track this way. If I get one way in my head I want to do something, this is an easy way for me to lose time. I'm going to skip the second one for a second and hop onto the third, which is internal or, I guess, inanimate energy sinks. These are things that you create for yourself, and I guess this is kind of like the business one, but a perfect example for this is my father when he was very involved in this company. You know, he still is in a lot of ways, but he had a drill chuck back in the day, keyless drill chuck for one of the mills that he loved. He thought it was the best one ever. I don't know if it was actually called the Golden Goose or if he just called it the Golden Goose, but it was his favorite drill chuck in the world. He thought it was the greatest thing. You know, it kept very centered. It was easy to use. You could, you know, key it out very easily by hand. Very little run out. Loved this drill chuck. Long story short, it broke. He spent likely 3-4 weeks getting different drill chucks in, trying to find this Golden Goose again. I don't think he ever found it. I think he found one that was similar to it, but was not the same. Needless to say, I mean, at this point, he was pretty much retired, so his time isn't as, you know, he had the time to be able to spend on it. He didn't have other responsibilities that he needed to be doing. But that, you know, enough said, he spent weeks looking for a drill chuck when realistically heading onto a tooling supplier and said, hey, listen, I'm looking for this, X, Y, Z, and maybe not just this specific one. He could have saved some time that way. But needless to say, you know, I'm not criticizing what he's done. I do this all the time. It's just a very illustrative example. The third one, or I guess the second one, is personal. And this is kind of the main one I wanted to talk about here. And this is people. These energy sinks and leeches are people. I'd like to point out first and foremost that I don't think 90%, even 95% of these people that turn into energy sinks or energy leeches are doing it intentionally or maliciously. A lot of times it's going to be ignorance and it's going to be misplaced good intentions. So these can be people who come in and, you know, they're a friend or a customer or whoever that want you to do just one little piece for them. Can you help them out? Sure, I would love to. Then all of a sudden, you know, 2 weeks down the road, hey, can you do this one more thing for me? Sure. Hey, actually, I need you to tweak this. Sure. Before you know it, all of a sudden your actual timelines are getting pushed around. You know, you're ending up spending your own time and money to help this person out or these people out. This has happened many, many times. This is not one person. This isn't a subtweet video to one person by any means. This happens all the time, and I'm sure it's happened to any of you guys who own shops. You know, the neighbor who comes in and they want you to just make this one little thing for them, and can you just tweak this, and oh, actually, can you design this as well? And before you know it, it turns into a real problem. It keeps pulling you off the jobs you're doing. Maybe it's eating up your weekends that you usually do your own kind of work on there, and all of a sudden, your time's getting eaten because you kind of committed to this, maybe accidentally or whatever it may be. It may be someone who comes in with a good business idea or wants to partner with you on something, and you understand it as you're going to be doing this, and your responsibilities in it are this. Well, maybe it turns out that you're doing a lot of the work, and a lot of the other stuff is going to be their responsibility, but it turns out that your end is just a lot bigger. Maybe it's not the best deal. What I'm trying to say is there's going to be a ton of times when you need to look out for your own best interests, not only personally, but for your business. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and nowhere is that more true than in this business. It's very easy to get distracted or try to do something nice or try to do something, that you would like to have done for yourself. Treat people nicely, do things like that, but if you end up heading down that road, it's very quickly you can end up sinking a lot of time and money that maybe you can't afford or maybe would be spent better elsewhere. I'm not saying you shouldn't help out your friends. I'm not saying you shouldn't do favors for people. I'm saying you need to be very cognizant of how much you let people take and how much you let yourself be taken advantage of. Because people will take advantage of you. They will take advantage of your good nature. They will understand that if you have this capability and they can get that out of you without paying much for it, they'll milk it. And they're not doing it maliciously. They're doing it because it's a good deal for them. They're looking out for their best interests. All I'm asking is that, as this year ahead comes, think critically about every interaction you have when it comes to your business. You need to have a personal Ian and you need to have a business Ian, and substitute your own name there, because I don't think you're all named Ian. But being able to separate those two out and say, yes, you know what? Personally, I would love to help out this friend to do this thing for him. I'm going to do this one part for them, and that's it. If they come back, now business Ian needs to step in and say, do you know what? I was really happy to help you out. Here's a machine shop I can set you up with. Because I personally don't like to do a lot of stuff for friends, because then you get into pissing contests over money or whatever it may be. I don't like to destroy personal relationships that way. But here's Machine Shop B. They're a good friend of mine. They can hook you up if you want to do a production run. Unfortunately, I got a production schedule I got to stick to right now. Being able to turn that on and off is critical, and it keeps you out of some sticky situations. Okay? I hope this hasn't been too rambly of a all over the place video. It's just something that's been on my mind the last few days. I haven't had to deal with any of these scenarios lately, but I did hear about a friend who's dealing with this right now in his shop. Some varied expectations, I'd say, is what happened there. Someone walked in with one expectation, and then it turned out to be another thing, and now he's dealing with it. So keep that in mind with your head. Keep it ahead. Keep it in your mind when you're dealing with people, and hopefully you stay out of trouble that way, okay? Thanks very much for watching, guys. As always, I appreciate you coming and hang out with me. I'm glad a lot of you guys seem to like these shop talk videos. They're just kind of my thoughts based on what's going on in my machine shop life on a day-to-day basis. So, sometimes they're a little rambly, sometimes they're a little over the map, but I hope you guys do enjoy them. If you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe below. Also, check out my shop in the bio if you want to pick up some Lakewood shirts or some of the projects you've seen here. I've got a couple of them on there now if you're interested in that way, okay? Thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care.